Hey, y'all, when it comes to the AC business, trust goes a long way, and that's why I recommend Cool Kings Heating and Air. The good folks at Cool Kings are licensed and experienced technicians that provide the top-notch service that you deserve throughout Baton Rouge and the surrounding areas. They offer everything from emergency AC repair to complete AC replacements and maintenance plans tailored to keep your system running all year round. And right now, you can get financing on a brand new heating and cooling system totally interest-free. That's 0% interest on a brand new system. Give them a call at 225-681-2665 for more information, or visit them on the web at coolkingsheatingandair.com. Cool Kings Heating and Air is a verified partner of Local Leaders, the podcast. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to Local Leaders, the podcast. And I have a guest sitting across from me. I would call him, he would laugh and say he's not, but I call him a professional podcaster by now because he's been on my show a couple of times. And, of course, we are talking about none other than Denham Springs Mayor Gerard Landry. So, first of all, welcome to Local Leaders.
Thank you. Good to be back.
It is great to see you. We have a lot we're going to talk about today on a particular subject, but before we get into that, I just want to say, give people out there a little synopsis of, you know, how long you've been in the mayor's office. So this is your third term. You started in 2015, and you know, you've had quite a run. I don't know a better way to put that.
Some days better than others.
Some days better than others. Of course, 2016, everybody, you know, the majority of the city goes underwater. 2020, you get thrown a lot of COVID, you know, issues that affected business back in those times. And it seemed like we always had, in my opinion, the right guy for the job. We were able to persevere through that. We came back stronger each time. And now we're focusing, it seems like, a little more on projects that aren't disaster related. That must be nice.
It is. It is. And yet you have to wonder, why was it called the Great Flood? What was great about it?
Right.
It happened to be a pretty bad flood.
It was no kidding. Yeah. And we talked about this the first time you came on. I believe that people are put in the right place at the right time for the right job in disaster situations like that. I will always believe you were the right man for that. Very thankful for that. Again, 2020 dealt kind of a business blow with COVID and everything. You were able to navigate that, get through it. And now finally in a position, at least for now, knock on wood, where, hey, we're going to focus on some things that this city needs.
Well, the city needs whatever happens to us.
Yeah.
We have to be able to deal with it.
And,
and this has been a challenge from time to time, and just have the right team around you, the right motivation to make sure everybody does the right thing.
Yeah.
And give us the wisdom to do what the citizens need us to do.
Yeah.
And be willing to do it.
Yeah.
Now finally, we're on our end of our 11th year, and there's finally a project that's really going to be a feel-good project.
Yes.
You know, something progressive, if you will.
Yes.
And so we're excited about that.
And you know, obviously, you know, my excitement over that. I've voiced that to you several times, and you seem very excited about that as well. Something that you can give back to your citizens. Something that has been requested. I mean, it's been a glaring issue in the parish,
right? A
lack of this type of venue, if you will, and it is a conference center and a really nice brand of hotel going next to it. Of course, we're talking about the Denham Springs Conference Center and the Hilton Garden Inn Hotel.
That is correct.
So I guess the way to start would be at the beginning. How did this come to fruition?
Well, I'm going to go back and give Jimmy Durbin some kudos, because one of the things he talked about to me whenever we were campaigning, and he spent so much time with me trying to groom me to walk in and be able to perform at a high level, was the mayor's job is to try to put people together. Because I get to talk to so many people and see so many opportunities out there. Sometimes I just need to call somebody and say, hey, you might want to talk to this guy.
Yeah.
Because he's looking for something to do. And so you try to put people together, and this is a situation where that is exactly what has happened.
Yeah.
And so it started with a gentleman that came and talked to us about the owner of the property.
Yeah.
And he didn't know what to do with it. He was frustrated. He bought it when the apartment complex went down back in early 14 or 15.
Yeah.
He bought it at a fire sale. I think that was his term that he used. Yeah. And he just has not been able to find something that fit. And he said, I'm just ready to kind of give it away. And I said, so maybe the city wants it. So we had a conversation. Yeah. And I told him, I said, I would rather see you do something that makes you wildly successful.
Sure.
Collect a lot of sales tax that I can use to run my city.
Yeah.
And he said, what do you need? I said, well, I surely would love to see a conference center and a nice branded hotel that sits next to it, because we don't have anything like that here. And he says, okay. And here we are now, a year and a half later. And we've got all the bugs worked out. We only have one hurdle left to go, and that's the actual formation of the TIF before the council. And that's going to be on the 14th.
Yep.
I'm sorry, the 24th. And so we're there, and he's excited. I spoke to him again this morning, and we're ready to go forward. So now we'll have a place that nobody else in the parish has.
Yep.
No other branded hotel like this in the parish that people would be proud to stay at.
Yeah.
So a Hilton product is pretty darn good.
It really is.
Yeah.
Great name. And I want to say, it all started with just a mention. You bring it's amazing I would imagine when you look back on this now that, wow, had I not said that.
You and I had a conversation one day. You called me and you said, how come we can't have something like the Pace Center in Gonzales?
Yeah.
I said, I don't know.
Yeah.
But we'll figure it out. And sure enough, here we are. So thank you for making that suggestion. And I've done some research on the Pace Center, and it serves the community well. And so, we're going to try to make one that serves us as well as well as we can.
Absolutely. And so many, let's get into the uses. The importance here is really tenfold. I mean, personally, in my business, I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, not only could I sell that out 3 or 4 times a year, but I can also bring people in from all over the country to go to it. Some of the podcasts that we do here with the Envision production side of what I do are podcasts that have fans from all over the United States. Wow. And they come down here. Kelly Jennings with Unspeakable Podcast, who is a Livingston Parish, Denham Springs resident, last podcast she did had people from almost all 50 states come down here.
Isn't that amazing?
Influx of people. But we had to hold it over 3 nights because we didn't have a building to fit all 1,000 people at once.
Wow. And that happens to be the number that we picked.
Yeah.
Let's try to do something that would hold 1,000 people at tables, seated.
Yes.
Because I had to clarify that. The guy said 1,000 people standing. No, 1,000 people seated. And my thought process was this. I've been, my wife and I have been members of the Denham Springs Mardi Gras crew for a long time.
Yep.
And we utilize the PARS, the gymnasium.
Yes.
Well, I'm not criticizing them by no means, but you know what? It's still a gymnasium, no matter how much we try to make it look nice.
Yeah.
And we've had some really great years where it really looks nice. But then you have to worry about, people might consume alcohol at a Mardi Gras ball. And
sure.
but how nice it would be to have a hotel that's connected to the facility.
100%.
I know when Mary and I were a king and queen, we had it at the one of the hotels in Baton Rouge. That was the only year that we had enough funds to do it, and we were honored to have it done that at that time. But now with this facility here, we could do it every time.
Yeah.
Because the PARDS facility, we seat 450 people.
Yeah.
So I want to seat 1,000, and so that's the goal that we have. It's about a 15,000 square foot center with all the walls retracted. We'll have a stage, and we'll have it try to set up so that you You could have a Mardi Gras ball, you could have a band on the stage, you could have a dance recital. I just think of all the things that you could do: a wedding reception. This is endless. And then you have things like you were just talking about. You could have a conference. You could have a group meeting of 100 people or 200 people.
Yeah.
All of these things would be fed, if you will, the beverages and food served from the Hilton.
Yeah.
We'll have it connected by a walkway, a covered walkway, glass or whatever. And so, people could check into that room and go right to the banquet or right to the facility and right back and never even set foot outside.
Yeah.
But that's not the key. The key is what the whole development is going to end up looking like.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly. Let's get into that a little bit.
Sure. So the TIF is tax incremental financing.
Yep.
And it only works whenever you have a piece of property. I say only, but it's ideal. This property right now generates $0 in tax.
Yeah.
There might be some property tax because it was classified as agricultural.
Sure.
Now it's commercial.
Yeah.
And then you throw in the hotel and you throw in the conference center, and we got a 60-acre TIF. So that's a lot of land that we could put a lot of stuff in, right? So we could have movie theaters. We could have more restaurants, different restaurants, nationwide chains. And that's what Joe Moore, who is going to be our realtor of record to make this thing happen, he has access to all those venues. And look, Joe has done quite a bit of stuff. He was involved in the Gulf Coast boom of 30, 40 years ago with all the casinos.
Yeah.
He knows government. He knows the government side, and he knows the retail side.
Sure.
So he's charged with going out and get us the best and the latest and the greatest, and not duplicate what we have, but to expand what we have.
Yeah.
So it would be a great asset to the center and also for our own folks.
I believe it. And let me say this, there's an interesting domino effect when these type of facilities are built and they're put up, and that is it attracts. It's a magnet for other successful businesses to come to your community. A very high-end restaurant, for example, might see an available property there and say, hey, this would be a great spot for us. Your local existing businesses really thrive.
Sure they do. And Michael Gibson, who is going to be the hotel operator, and look, just to make sure everybody understands, he's going to come build us a hotel. This is his own money that he's investing.
Yeah.
It's about a $30 million hotel.
Yeah.
And he has several, and this is his own money that he's investing. So when he flew in for the first time, and I took him on a tour of Baton Rouge to show why he needed to be here and why people are moving to Denham and Livingston Parish. And an interesting question I said, let's go look at Jubilee Crossing so you can see the mall. He said, well, is there a Texas Roadhouse there? I said, yes, sir. He said, I'm in.
Come on.
I said,
just
because the Texas Roadhouse? He said, yeah. He said, Olive Garden and Texas Roadhouse. That's the number one and number two in the whole country for casual dining.
Wow.
They know what they're doing when they look for a location. They know they're going to be there for 20 years, 30 years. And he said, if they're good with Jubilee, I'm good with Denham.
How about that? I didn't know that.
That was that quick. Now, of course, he did his due diligence, and he got a survey done, market analysis, and it has come back very, very well.
Yeah.
So he's ready to go. And he's even talked about, if we need a second location, you find me 3 or 4 acres, and I'll build you another one.
Come on. That tells you.
It tells you, yeah, we're prime. Okay?
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah. Very, very big stuff there. Now, anytime you announce a project like this, of course, chatter starts. And one thing I did the second I heard about this project and it was released was I said, I'm going to put it out there. You went to a chamber event and announced it. And so the next thing I did was say, hey, check this out, put it on Facebook. Very blessed to have a pretty big following and had a lot of comments. And I would say 99% of them were positive, which is rare on Facebook.
Yes. That's an anomaly.
Very, very rare. But there were a few people that, traffic was a concern, and that's always a concern anywhere you live. I don't know how many people have driven out to Baton Rouge lately, but you'd be hard pressed to get from one end of Baton Rouge to the other in less than a half hour.
Oh, sure.
It's a jungle out there, but that was some questions from a few people that I wanted to address just because there's a lot of infrastructure being put around this project. Let's talk about that for a second.
Well, obviously, we've always had traffic issues here. It's because of the growth that we've experienced in Livingston Parish.
Yeah.
There's about 71 or 72,000 cars a day pass the Denham Springs exit every day on the interstate.
Mind blowing. Yeah.
Half of those, about 32,000, exit here in Denham Springs.
Even more mind blowing.
Even more mind-blowing, especially when we only have 10,000 people that live inside the city limits.
Right.
Now, the city limits and the 70726 zip code is two entirely different things. Watson has a 70726 or 70727. So when you get right before you get to Watson, it's still listed as Denham Springs.
Right.
But it's not. It's not the 7.5 square miles that I'm charged with trying to manage for our citizens.
Right.
So we acknowledge that there's a traffic problem, and trust me, since 2015, I have been working on traffic problems here in the city of Denham Springs with DOTD. We're a part of District 62 in Hammond. That's who supervises, or that's the section of the state DOTD that we are. That's who manages our roads for us. Allison Schilling, who's been coming out here since that time. Larry Smith after her, and now we have Dalton Williams. He's an ex-Mississippi Department of Transportation. He just retired. Now he's coming to work for us here.
Yeah.
And he's doing a really good job of working with us closely. So my point is we have worked a long time on traffic issues, long before people really, really got excited about it like they are now.
Yeah.
And I stood on the back of the Wendy's grassy knoll back there looking at the traffic with 6 or 7 engineers way back in 2015. And that's why we finally ended up with the 2 lanes to come on off the interstate, or 3 lanes coming off the interstate.
Yeah.
That's how we finally got that done. That's how we got the turn lane for rushing. I've stood on the corner with them counting cars at 190 in Range and 190 in Hummel. And that's how we got the turn lanes there, the enhanced lighting. It just takes so long to get it done. So this particular project, the hotel,
Yeah.
sits right smack dab in the middle of a project that we've been working on for a long time as well. Allison Schilling, back in 15 or 16, we talked about extension of Cook Road. Now, Cook Road was far from being complete at that time, right? If it was even started.
Yeah.
People don't realize the Cook Road was actually the funds for that were from Richard Baker, Representative Richard
Really?
Baker. And that money was supposed to be for the Juban exit.
Oh,
and it was
okay.
moved to Cook Road.
Okay.
They thought that was their best thing to do.
Yeah.
Who am I? That was long before I got here, but that's how long ago that project was funded and started.
Sure.
Of course, Cook Road now has taken several years to get it done.
Yeah.
And so now we've been working with the Cook Road extension, and I'm going to call it Demco Drive, because it will go from the Cook Road roundabout at Peace Highway to Range Avenue at Demco Drive. Our friends at Demco were kind enough to donate the right-of-way and ask if I would call it Demco Drive, and I said, "You better believe it."
Yeah.
I would gladly take that. We love their partnership with us.
Sure.
And it's going to help them as well because they have some property back there. So these funds that we're talking about are DOTD funds that we have to ask for.
Yeah.
And we have support from Valerie Hodges and from Roger Wilder. 2023, we received about $500,000 for Demco Drive.
Yeah.
We just submitted another request for 2026 for $1.1 million. And this is for design work to get the road built. If you build it, if you design it and you follow your paperwork and you do everything you're supposed to do, then DOTD can fund it.
Yeah.
They don't do everything. They'll give you some capital outlay money to make the project viable, show them that it's viable, and then you continue to ask for and receive funding. Demco Drive by itself from Cook Road to Range is about a $14 million project.
Yeah.
Hard to comprehend.
Sure.
But that's what it costs.
It's what it costs. And, I believe, and I'm sure you would agree with this, but when you get projects like what's coming with this conference center and this hotel, I don't know if light a fire under people is a great term, but it usually catches people's attention to the point that they say, now we have a really good reason to act on this infrastructure.
And that's exactly the position that I'm taking. I've called everybody and his brother the last 2 weeks and said, look, we're getting ready to roll this project out here. I don't want you to be embarrassed because we don't have the roads yet, but we need to, we need to kick this thing in high gear and try to make something happen quicker if we can. Yeah. So the response has been good. Yep. They have their hands tied with state funding just like everybody else does, but they are very excited about this.
And you brought up a good point, and that is, a lot of the funds for infrastructure in your city or in any city for that matter are state funded projects. Of course, there's a lot of red tape behind the scenes involved in that. Sure. No one more than Mayor Landry would love to snap a finger and make it all go away, but that's just not the reality of it. There's so many eyes that have to look at this stuff, and your legislators in your district play a big role in that.
Of course.
They approve the funding a lot of times for these projects, or they lobby for it or whatever. Hey, we need to get this here. And you mentioned both Hodges and Wilder have both been very supportive.
Yes. They've said, we had to have letters of support that we just submitted on November the 1st to DOTD for this funding. So they're very aware of what our needs are. And of course they live here. Yeah. And they see it all the time, which brings me to one other point. So we hear about traffic all day. We talk about traffic all day. And my lovely bride and I will get in the car and go somewhere. And she said, baby doll, if we had a decent mayor, we wouldn't have all these traffic problems. And I said, yes, dear.
So, that's correct.
It is. But Marion, just like I do. She's a great woman. And I love her to death. But she don't mind giving me a little dig. But let's just back up a second. So these roads have been in the works for a long time.
Yeah.
And then when this gentleman came to us and talked about this project, guess what? All the roads that we're talking about cover all four sides of this particular project. Yeah. It was like God said, okay, now you can come talk to him about this spot and it's going to work out.
That's a beautiful thing. And I can't tell you the amount of people that I've talked to that are excited about that. Let's touch on that for a second. And you mentioned, dance recitals, for example, are going to be a big thing. Children's choir going to be a big thing for that particular project. And you've spoken to some of these people.
Yes, I have. Barbara Walker and Phyllis Guy.
Yep.
Barbara's with the Livingston Parish Children's Choir. Phyllis Guy has a dance studio here in town. And they both have expressed interest in working with the architects to make sure that we design this facility that is conducive to the uses that they need.
Yes.
And that's what my job is, to make sure that we do stuff that's good for our citizens. Gonzales may not have that same capability because maybe nobody said anything. I don't know.
Yeah.
But when somebody reaches out to me, I'm going to do the best thing I can to make sure that we accommodate everybody's needs. And that's 100%. What makes this thing so successful, right? Is when we do it the right way.
That's right.
And everybody wants to use it.
And who would know better than Phyllis Guy how to design a place for dance recitals. I mean, she's going to be the expert.
What does the stage need to look like? And for the choir, how many risers do you need? All these
lighting.
So many lighting.
Yeah.
This thing was supposedly going to have a 10-foot ceiling. I said, well, can I have a 20-foot ceiling?
Yeah.
Because how are you going to put a nice chandelier for a nice event if you don't have the height on the ceiling? So these are the kinds of things you have to work through. We're taking baby steps, but we're going to get there.
100%. And just quickly, TIFs. So I guess you could say the TIF got cool with the Bass Pro project. This was a very successful, I don't know if I call it experiment in a TIF, but, it speaks volumes for when a TIF is successful, how it works, because that was paid off way early.
It was a 30-year, $50 million TIF that was paid off 12 years early.
That's huge.
And when I told that to the developer and to the hotel guy, they both looked like, really? I said, yes, really.
Yeah.
And, of course, that's how Juban has been built, Juban the mall, and the phase 2 and 3 are coming up, and those are all going to be TIFs as well.
Yep.
And it's the additional taxes. There's an additional 2% or sometimes 3% tax, whatever the numbers are going to be, that's charged to the people that shop there.
Yeah.
So the property taxes for anybody else are not going to go up.
That's very important point.
Well, of course it is. If you don't shop there, you won't see any increase in your taxes.
Yeah.
Okay, but we encourage everybody to do so.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have the Bass Pro facility. We wouldn't have Sam's. We wouldn't have all the stuff that's there if it wasn't for the TIF.
That's exactly right. And that domino effect that I talk about.
Yeah, exactly.
These major projects are done and everything around them grows because of it.
Yeah, well, just like Michael said about Michael Gibson about the hotel. you know what? If Texas Roadhouse is there, I'm coming.
I'm coming.
He knows.
he knows. And, even the residual effect from, these people will come out of town. Maybe they're coming here for dance recital, or maybe they're coming here for a live podcast. And while they're here, they realize, oh, we have a nice antique district right down the road. And we're here for the weekend. Let's go check that out. Oh, Big Mike's was, on Bar Rescue, and right. Very popular for that. I remember watching that episode. I'm going to go eat at Big Mike's. That'd be kind of cool.
Wouldn't it though?
Jumps your whole community.
That's right. So it's about getting Denham Springs on the map.
Yes.
Okay. For the right reasons.
For the right reasons. Yeah. You definitely want to be on there for the right reasons.
And this is the kind of stuff that builds the community. It builds the business community, and it makes everybody even more successful than they already are.
Yeah.
And so I'm very, very excited about this whole project. This is probably, I'm ready.
Yeah, me too. And there was a lot of entities that were willing to give up some of their tax money, or I guess you call it tax money that they pay.
You have some property taxes that we're going to go after. Okay, I say property taxes. What we're asking. The Convention Bureau, the Visitors Bureau. Yeah, they had a 3% tax. They're willing to give us 1.5%, which is a significant. Supposed to get an answer this week from Gravity Drainage, and then I think a week after that we'll probably get an answer, hopefully from the parish. We're asking for the same thing same thing as Juban has, which is 40% of the 0.75 sales tax.
Yeah,
and so there's a lot of components, and everything else is going to be control or taxes that are from the city. If you remember, the issue that they had with Bass Pro was a school board tax, and that's what ended up in court, and that's what drug out that whole process for so long.
Right. Because
it was a state tax. Well, that's not going to be the case here.
Oh, very good.
It's all locally, and the city of Denham Springs controls probably 90% of it.
Very good. And yes. I know we don't have a firm estimated time that this will be done.
2 or 3
couple of years.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years is probably a safe bet.
Yeah, they got a lot of stuff to clear, and that's the lengthy part, I would imagine.
Yeah, that and then funding, like we talked about. This year we'll get another we're asking for another $1.1 million to do the design work on these 2 roads, and the next year we'll ask for some more. And so maybe 3 years from now, I don't know, but
yeah,
the investors and the people that are the property owners are ready to go, and they have the funds available to do so. They're not waiting on us. They're going to start doing what they have to do.
Yeah. And just quickly, if you're watching the video version of the podcast right now, I'm going to go ahead and insert a video of the infrastructure that is planned around this development. So as we're talking, you're going to be seeing that. And I'm also going to have a picture up of the actual development, the Hilton Garden Inn and the convention.
It's a proposed
conference. Is it?
Proposed Hilton and the Denham Springs Conference Center.
Yes. And you'll notice they're connected, which you mentioned earlier, I think is really nice. It's a little thing sometimes, Mayor, that people appreciate that make a difference. And
right. That's why we use experts.
There you go. Exactly right. So I'm excited. I know you're excited. I want to thank you for really, spearheading it along with the city council, and just so many brains got together on this one to see it through, including the citizens. And that's a big thing. It's what it's all about. Just quickly, couple of other how's Aldi's coming along?
Aldi's opens December the 11th.
Yeah, kind of a big project there.
It is. It really is. They ran into some difficulties with they were doing some slab work inside the building, and some things didn't line up like they needed, so it took some extra work. And I think when they tore it into the facade on the front, they found some rust and rot. They had to get, because they used an existing building, obviously. Yeah. And so they had a little delay trying to get that done. But I was contacted last week. December the 11th.
Wonderful. And, of course, Baton Rouge General Hospital is going up on Juban.
Isn't that amazing?
Huge project. Yeah.
We are, we're no longer Dinky Springs.
No, no, we're not. No one loves that more than me. I love that stuff. And any final thoughts, any projects coming up that
I'm just pleased that everything is finally turning out good. Like I said, we're no longer in recovery mode.
Yeah.
And it's a good place to be right now.
Yeah, it really is.
So I love Denham Springs. I love all the people here.
Yeah.
And
just
life is wonderful.
what, a year left?
So next year will be my last year.
Yeah.
And so about a year and a month and 20 days or something like that. And on one hand, I will kind of miss it. Not going to lie to you, but I'm going to be here. I'll still be here, and I'll probably still be a part of the board that we have to put together for this development.
Yeah.
And of course, Marion's lived here all of her life.
Yeah.
And I couldn't drag her from here if I wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
living's the parish ladies.
That's right. But we're going to be here, and I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad to have served as long as I have.
Yeah.
The people blessed me with no opponent last time.
That's a nice thing.
I guess, I don't know, but
well, it speaks to I think, and I know you would never say this, but I think it speaks to the confidence in you and
thank you for the kind words.
Yeah, I can't. You know how I feel about that, but I don't know if I'll ever be able to talk you out of leaving, and I don't know that I blame you for ready to turn the page to another chapter, but I'll tell you, we've been blessed to have you. I can't wait to see what the future holds. And I got a chair here, and we can do a podcast together every day if you want to.
I thoroughly enjoy talking to you every time I come out here, because this is it's fun.
Yeah, it really is
informative, and we have like minds, and it's we challenge each other sometimes.
Ask
a
sure.
question. That's okay.
Yeah.
People need to learn that you can have a difference of opinion. It doesn't have to be a life and death thing, right?
Right. It'd be a boring life if everybody agreed all the time.
I know, right?
It's just the truth of it. And look, I learn more than anybody, I think. And I'm someone that always seeks out knowledge. And the reason I do that is because I know I'm probably 90% of the time I'm wrong. So I've got to be educated.
That's what she'll tell you, right?
Yeah. Oh, she'll say 100%.
Oh, no.
Well, thank you again for coming on. It's always a pleasure. Anytime you want to get something out there, you let me know, and you can come sit down and we'll talk about it, whatever it is. To all the listeners, thank you so much for listening. Please share this podcast with anyone that you feel could benefit. And until next time, I'm Jim Chapman, reminding you, love your community, support local business, and keep leading. Thank you very much.